Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. It's nice to see everybody. First order of business is roll call. So let's get through that. Judy Soth, I can see you online, so I know you're here. Ed Quick. Is Ed Quick not present?
No, he's not here.
All right, he might be running late. Louise Platt, I know, is online. Louise, you're on mute.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, great, thanks. Michael Tashman.
I'm here. I couldn't get the Zoom to work, so I'm just on the phone.
That's fine. Gary Johnston.
Here.
John Barrowman.
Here.
Susan Vance. I do not see her online. Okay. Tatiana McClure. Okay, that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including me, which means we do have a quorum. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move right into a very, very brief president's report. So first order of business is to just a few quick thanks to Bob Cunningham in particular for taking on the chlorination duties at the well. He's also been performing some small maintenance tasks here and there, so I appreciate that, Bob. A really big thanks to Greg Cross, who's been doing the usual summer work of being the guy on site to go to for irrigation repairs primarily, but he's also been involved with landscaping. And in addition, he met with the engineer that we approved to hire to do the automated chlorinator at the well. He met with him the other day to let him into the well and show him around and appreciate Greg's help. The other thing that he's involved with, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this later, is the clubhouse pool beautification effort. So the outdoor area around the pool. So that's, I'm probably missing a few people and I apologize, but I know that there's folks that have volunteered their time and continue to do so. I can't mention everyone every time, but thank you very much for all you guys do for the entire community. As far as I know, and believe me, if it were otherwise, I would hear it. Generally speaking, we're in pretty good shape. Now, that's both physically and fiscally. So, you know, my information is that generally speaking, with the new landscaping company, and Louise is going to talk about this when she gives her landscaping report a little bit later, they're doing a pretty good job. We have had no major catastrophes that I know of. We had a main water line leak that's been repaired. And the biggest thing that happened is that the mower or our tractor, which we spent quite a bit of money on getting ready for the season, had a axle break on it, and we're still trying to figure out what to do about that. But Florist Landscaping is in the process of purchasing a mower so that mowing will not begin, but continue next week. I did talk to Norland Florist, who's the head of Florist Landscaping, and he indicated that we might be able to take an axle from the secondary tractor that's been, as far as I know, not used in the past 2 years, that's in the maintenance shed, and take the axle off of that and put it on the mower that we just had serviced and put a new mower deck on. Oh, I see Ed Quick has joined. Thanks, Ed. And I don't know, maybe Mike or somebody, if you could just keep an eye on the online if anybody else hops in, specifically Tatiana or Susan Vance. I think those are the only two board members that are not on. So in any event, we'll continue with the mower and try and get that resolved one way or another. Again, Florist is purchasing a mower, but I think it'd be nice to have one that we spent, probably 2,000. Hello? So somebody needs to go on mute. We've already spent about.
I forget. How do you go on mute? What do you do?
*6.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I forgot.
That's all right. Actually, I should have started with that. I've got, I think, between 5 and 7 children here under the age of 3. So I apologize for any interruptions that might occur. Forget where I was. I think I just talked about the mower. It'd be nice to have our John Deere mower as a backup in case it's necessary. Our pool heater situation is still not resolved. I am still in consultation with the service company, and they are in talks with Raypak, the manufacturer. And we're trying to come up with a solution that is, let's call it, equitable for everybody. There were some mistakes made along the way by pretty much everyone. So we're trying to get that resolved. My understanding is right now, water doesn't need to be heated, but I would like to have it in place and resolved well before September in case it is needed. I mentioned the clubhouse pool beautification effort. I'm not exactly sure whose idea it was, but I do know that Greg Cross has been involved. And he informs me that Diane Blair and Jill Ciro are accepting donations for that effort. And the plan is basically to make it more aesthetically pleasing. It's going to be in blue and white color scheme. They're going to have cushions on the chairs, some planters, umbrellas. Anyone that donates any money whatsoever will get a receipt, and all of the expenses will be recorded and ultimately reported so that there's full transparency for that effort. So thanks everybody for your efforts with making that clubhouse pool exterior, a little bit nicer. It doesn't look fantastic right now. Okay. There is a leftover item from my report last month, and I believe Jill Ciro is there. Jill, correct me if I'm wrong. What we're looking for is a volunteer to lock the clubhouse door at 4 p.m. Is that just on Sundays, or is that every day?
For the month of July. Yeah, for the month of July.
For the entire month of July, every day, 4 o'clock?
Month of July. Well, 4 or 5 o'clock. It usually closes at 4.
Yeah, my question is, in my notes, I said I had on Sunday only, but I believe it's every day that you want that. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. I had texted you back that it would be, that it's not.
Okay, so we're still looking for a volunteer to do that. And the only other thing that I can think of, and I don't want to go through this right now, is to get a smart lock so that we could do it from someone's phone and install it that way. But that, if nobody steps forward and volunteers, I don't know what the solution is going to be. So, if anyone wants to do that, take a little walk around the property sometime around 4 or 5 o'clock every day, and in that walk, close the clubhouse door, would be greatly appreciated. Please let me know. Another thing that it's not on the agenda, I know that it was sent out, was the community survey, and I think we should talk about that under new business, because it deserves its own time, I believe. There's a lot of effort went into it, and Ed Quick was very, very good about getting all the information, the data together, and putting it in a presentation format that is easily understood by everybody. And I believe that is all I had for my report. Hold on one second. I'm being told, okay. Yeah, I just got a text that I know Susan Vance is on vacation, but I thought I saw her email said that she would sign in, but possibly she's still traveling. Okay. Next item up is the secretary's report, and I believe Judy, in Susan's absence, you're going to be doing that?
I'm going to try.
Okay, thank you.
So I assume everyone has looked over the draft minutes, and I need someone to make a motion to approve them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Mhm.
I so move. John Barrowman.
Who's that?
I second.
John
John?
Barrowman.
I second Gary Johnston.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion or questions about approving the minutes from the May 19th?
19.
May 19th meeting? Hearing none, all in favor of approving?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Thank you very much. We'll move right into the treasurer's report. Ed, and I believe you're going to do,
Business and finance also.
yeah, business and finance also. Thank you very much.
Sure. So I'll start with the treasurer's report. In terms of operating cash, we have $46,196 in change on hand. Petty cash, we have $7,340 in change on hand. But we owe the reserves, and I'll touch on the new number that we have, $47,408.39, leaving us a total operating budget or funds, if you will, of $6,127.93. If folks will recall, we've been reporting out about $90,000 due to reserves. In our last meeting, Chrissy and I had a conversation that we wanted to go back just to make sure we understood what that number was and that it in fact was correct. And with the re-review, we have found that the true number is $47,408. I think there might have been some confusion around the tree costs, whether they were borrowed or delayed for pay, etc. So we have validated the number to move from the 90,000 to the 47,408. So that's a bit of good news. In our reserve cash amount, we have $114,506.98, in addition to $234,539.41, for a total, including the amount due to reserves, of just shy of $400,000 at $396,454.78. I'm going to move over to the Business and Finance report. So the Business and Finance Committee met on June 23rd to review the operating and actual forecast of budget and to discuss next steps on the reserve fund and review the community survey. In regards to the operating performance to plan, there are reasons to be cautiously optimistic for 2025 financial performance. Year to date, we are forecasting a possible $65,000 surplus to operating budget. But again, we're only 5 months into the year. We are showing favorability in utilities, tree maintenance and repair. Sorry, my watch started talking. And repair and maintenance, and we are continuing to monitor to see if that will hold up. On the other side of the ledger, we still owe the operating fund. We still owe funds to the operating reserve. So that would be $50,000 roughly, or 40, whatever the actual number I gave. I think it was $47,408. So that will go against, in a favorable way, the surplus that we may have. In discussing the reserve fund, we reviewed 3 key points. Where are we on the planned 2025 projects? Many of the planned dollars in 2025 were designated, much of the planned dollars for 2025 were designated for carport repairs. Jim Young put together a complete review and status of each carport with work schedule to begin this fall. Colleen is reviewing prior year repairs, including those from 2024 storm damage, so we can build a comprehensive multi-year plan going forward. we recommend we establish a trigger that initiates reserve repayment from operations based on cash position needs. I'll partner with Chrissy at Associate to determine what's the best threshold and timing to recommend making that transfer. We're still working on developing a 3-year reserve project recommendations and budget, and establishing the carport plan with will be a big part of that. And as mentioned earlier, we did review the community survey and discuss next steps in relations to that. And Jay mentioned that earlier. So that's the business and finance and treasurer reports all rolled into one.
Thank you, Ed. Are there any questions from the board for Ed? Okay, anyone from the community want to ask any questions? All right. I don't see anything in chat, so move right along and we'll go to, I guess, Chrissy, I don't know if you actually have a report.
What I do have is in your board packet.
Right.
I did add the additional pages and I listed out all the open and current maintenance requests for both landscape and maintenance.
Okay.
And so that is just for your review, just so we can kind of start closing out those on Town Square that have been resolved.
Yeah.
Just so that you guys have that record in paper, and we can start kind of cleaning up Town Square, because there's quite a bit that's open and hasn't been touched on. So if you need me to follow up with anything on my end, let me know. But that's all.
Yeah, I haven't been able to keep up with much of it. I did see something get assigned to me today, so I'll get back to that. Hopefully, well, this week's a little bit crazy with the holiday on Friday, but I'll get to it as soon as I can.
Okay.
We'll get those closed. I didn't think there was anything extremely urgent on there. I just scanned it, but I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong.
There's, for the maintenance side, there is an Adobe brick repair request for the gate at carport number 6. There is a garbage can lid that has been reported to be broken and that needs to be repaired.
Yeah, I think those are pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and the sewage backup has been taken care of, so that will not, if it's not closed out, it will be.
Okay, great.
And all the lighting, I didn't know if the lighting had all been resolved when they came out. I didn't get a report.
I didn't see a report from the electrician, but I did ask somebody. Like, it was a long time ago. It must have been about 4 or 5 days ago, so I can't remember who. And they said all the lights were working. The only issue might be that the main entrance off of roller coaster are on 24/7. And that is easily resolved by putting a day-night bulb in both of those. And I'll get somebody to do that.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, we can move right into landscape.
Well,
Landscape
hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Louise.
Okay. Jay pretty much went over really what's going on with landscaping. I'll just add a few more details regarding our new landscape committee. Our landscaping crew. Florist Landscaping took over the care of our grounds as of June 1st. The crew consists mainly of 5 people. Hector and Alfonso, who most of us know already. Hector's brother, Willie Rosales, is part of the crew. Norland Flores is the owner. I see him on the grounds a lot, not consistently, but he certainly is overseeing what needs to be taken care of on the property. And there is another fellow by the name of Luis. I don't know his last name, and he comes and goes as well. But basically, the crew will be on our grounds from Tuesday to Friday doing landscaping chores. Monday is devoted strictly to garbage collection. And I do want to say again, please, everybody have your garbage out by 7 o'clock on Monday morning. Monday is the designated day for garbage. The crew will not be able to come back for any late pickup of garbage that wasn't at ready by 7 on Monday. And another item that was brought to my attention, that people are throwing garbage into their trailer where they stash all their yard debris. And that trailer is strictly for organics. No garbage can be discarded, please, in that trailer because it contaminates the load and the dump site will not accept the load. And as Jay indicated, we've had a few notable problems with our lawnmower, but that will be taken care of. We've had incidentals. They may not be incidentals for the unit owners that pop up, but we attend to them as best as we can. A lot, Chrissy, I have put on as in progress on Town Square of those that have been posted, because many of those will be taken care of in due time once this landscape committee catches up.
Yeah.
So I'm not really
I did
all
see
that
that.
concerned. Pardon?
I did see that, yes.
Yeah. The only one thing that we do want to get taken care of before monsoon happens, and I'm optimistic. I'm up here in Mount Lemon, and I've counted 25 raindrops, so maybe the monsoons have come. but yeah, we have a dead cypress that really needs to be cut down before any horrible storms arrive at our doorstep. But that's really as far as that's it for landscaping for June. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Louise. Just before the meeting, I did talk to Norland Flores because I was shocked by the quote that he put in for that cypress. Then he explained why it was so expensive. I don't know that I agree with him or not, but regardless, I think, Chrissy, we need to get at least another bid.
I have been in touch with RO.
Okay.
Yeah, and I asked them to submit a bid. I did ask them to get it to us as quickly as possible, which they will. So
Okay, great.
as soon as we get that, that'll be forwarded to both you and Chrissy.
Okay, great. Thanks, Louise. Anyone from the board have any questions or comments for Louise in landscaping?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Luis, are we getting a cycle map or are they doing any reports, the new landscape crew?
Oh, no, nothing formal. Pretty much in touch with them every day, it seems, but to have something in writing, I can get that to you. I'm 99.9% certain. When you say cycle map, are you talking about the schedule of mowing versus edging versus this and that?
Yeah, just something that shows where in the community they're working per week and
Okay.
what type of work they're completing in those sections, just so that everybody has an idea as to where they're going to be. Because what happens is I get homeowners who are like, hey, my grass is really, really long. And there's no way I can tell them, oh, hang in there, they'll be there next week. Because I don't know when they'll be in that area.
Those schedules, the mowing and trimming schedule is actually part of the contract.
Yes, and to my understanding, we are sticking with what was previously established with Hector and Alfonso. I will double check on that for you. I also want to get a picture of the crew and have that circulated either through the Roadrunner, Town Square, or whatever, so that the residents would be able to identify who is walking around the grounds. I'm sure mostly everybody is familiar with Hector and Alfonso, but the other folks know. So, yeah, I will get that to you. Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Louise. And we'll move into, I don't see I have not had a chance to talk to Jim, and I don't see him online, so I'm assuming that there won't be a maintenance report. But as Ed indicated, right before he left, Jim did a comprehensive survey of all the carports, and that's the major project right now. There's some other minor things that we want to be able to get done, but most of those are things that can wait until we get back in October, November. In any event, there won't be a maintenance report as far as I know, unless Jim is online and I don't see him. No. So we'll move right into insurance. Tanya?
Jay, I'm sorry, right before we go into that, can we address the invoice for the irrigation repair?
Yes. So okay, it's a new company, so I don't know. I didn't even know we had a main line water leak. And I don't know if Flores saw it and undertook the repair of his own volition, or if he was directed to do that work. Does anyone know?
The first time I heard about it was when I got the invoice, so I don't know anything.
I knew nothing about it until I saw the invoice from you. So it's a pretty substantial amount. It's $1,900. There were 2 breaks in the main water line. He said it was a 2-inch and a 1-inch line that had to be repaired with a compression sleeve put around it. The compression sleeves themselves were $400 some odd each. So I will respond to you in writing, Chrissy, that those are approved for payment, but I told him he has to notify someone that work is being done. Louise, you didn't know anything about this either?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I tried to get in there. I came across it. I came across them working it one day. I had no knowledge of it. And I was surprised that at least Alfonso or Norland, I mean, they stop over at the house. I don't know who reported it. I did see the extensive amount of work. They actually had an extra fella by the name of Junior. And I don't know what else to say. I guess we could get more information about that from Alfonso. But yeah, I saw them working it. It was around, I think it was by Ibis's unit, if I recall correctly. And that's really all I know, except I saw some real big metal parts, couplings and so on and so forth. So it doesn't surprise me that it was a big bill.
Expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is part of the growing pain with a new company that comes in, doesn't know our process, and just assumes that if they see something that needs to be fixed, they fix it. Sometimes that's true, but not always.
Alfonso wants to say something.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Alfonso, please.
I think so. You are in the wrong area, because with each is different plumber coming to do that kind of leak.
Oh.
So the invoice says this was a leak behind the clubhouse and behind 675.
Oh,
Oh.
right there. Yeah, but just I help they to do the turn off the water. I don't know the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did let Norland know that in the future, any repairs like that or anything above and beyond the contract has to be pre-approved by Jay before he can invoice for any of the repairs or continue with the repairs. So he is aware of that now.
Right.
And that I would not be approving payment of any invoices above and beyond the contract without the pre-approval in writing from you.
Okay. All right. Is that it? Can we move on to insurance?
Did you want to do a motion for the approval of the invoice since it's over?
I'm sorry.
the
Yeah, it's above our threshold,
It's
isn't
above, yeah, it's above your
it?
threshold.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. So again, to summarize very briefly, we have an invoice for mainline brakes. There were two of them. The total is $1,900. Is that correct, Chrissy?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Work's already been completed. We're kind of faced with a decision after the fact, but in any event, I would entertain a motion from somebody to approve the payment of $1,900 to Flores Landscaping for the repair of the waterline brakes.
I move to approve.
Louise?
Louise,
Yeah.
motion made by Louise. Is there a second?
John Barrowman, second.
Thank you. Any questions from the board on that motion? Are there any questions or discussion from the community?
This is Colleen. Just a question. So that cost is coming out of irrigation repair and maintenance budget? Because
Yes,
it's not
ma'am.
reserve account.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so that will put us over budget on that particular item. That's all I wanted to note. Thank you.
Which I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Which account would that be?
It would be
It'll come-
6,200 irrigation repair and maintenance, correct?
Yes.
Boy,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So our budget for that was 2408 and so it'll put us right up there. Our annual budget was 5779. That's all I wanted to note, that will put us really right at the top of our budget for that item for the year.
Yeah.
The only
I
other thing you could do, Colleen, is you could put it under plumbing. I'm not sure if it was a main line, if it was an irrigation line. I'm not sure.
He told me it was a water
It
main.
was irrigation? Okay. So we should put it under irrigation then if it was irrigation.
The next one is good.
Okay, that's all I wanted to note.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we have a motion made and seconded to approve payment of $1,900 for the repair of those lines. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Payment is authorized. Thank you. Sorry, for the third time, Tanya, now you get a chance.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Tanya.
As you know, can you hear me?
Right here is the top, that's the mic.
Excuse me. As you know, the cost of insurance is very important to the Casitas. That is why I've already approached 4 agents for bid on our renewals. Our fire insurance expires in October, and our liability insurance expires in January. These are the 2 policies we have now that replaced our package policy. We have 4 other small policies with Firebird Insurance, which all expire on September 16th. Our agent, that's our Firebird agent, is going to bid for the fire and liability coverage that we presently have to coincide with the insurance coverages that he has. So he has 4 policies, and then we have the 2 policies with risk insurance. I have been in touch with all agents, and I'll let you know as soon as I get a firm bid, of course. However, all 4 agents have given us kind of bad news that the insurance doesn't look like it's going to go down. It might stay about the same as it was last year. The insurance is very tight. As you probably know, there have been a lot of claims and a lot of disasters. And some companies want at least 2 years of loss-free situations, not just 1 year. Now we're at our 1 year of having no losses or claims. So I'll be working on it and we'll see what happens. And that's basically all we can do with the insurance coverages we have now. And of course, bear in mind that when we do get the premiums, there will be an inflationary guard endorsement increasing the coverages to cover what it would cost to rebuild anything today. So that's part of the policy. When you get a replacement cost coverage, you have to agree to the inflationary guard endorsement that increases it automatically. And briefly, in respects to people's personal insurance, I have been asked about where's the fire station and where is our hydrants. So just briefly to tell you, there's a fire station which is Northwest Fire District number 30, and it's on Orange Grove, and it's exactly 2 miles from our gate. So that could help you if you were getting your own personal insurance. On the north side, right by the pet clinic by Circle K, is a hydrant. On the east side, there's a hydrant by Heart and Soul, practically next door to where Walter used to live. On the southeast side, there's another hydrant, which intersects with a roller coaster and Benita Road. Regretfully, the west end, which has a residence there is no fire extinguisher, and then there's fire hydrant, and then there's a gully. But it's entirely possible that if a fire did come to our casitas, that they could use a pump to pump out of the swimming pools. That's entirely possible. And Northwest knows our casitas very well. Any questions? That's my report.
I have a
Thank you.
question.
Okay.
So normally I confess I don't pay attention to insurance. It makes me glaze over or something. In fact, Tim was responsible. We just redid all our insurance. What I don't understand is what are the 4 other small policies? What do they cover?
The first one's our umbrella policy that we've always had, that it's additional coverage to our liability. Our liability is the underlying coverage, and then we have a couple of million over that. So we're very well protected for any trip and fall or anything like that on the property. That's number one. Number 2 is our D&O, and that's your malpractice for the board. In case they do something that they were going to be sued for, they're fully protected. And years ago, we did have to collect on that. You may not have remembered that, but I went to the judge on it. He called me, and so I'm very familiar with that. So we did have a claim on that, but no one has indicated any problem about it. So that was the D&O, directors and officers. In addition to that, we also have crime coverage, but the policy we got for the renewal attached the crime coverage to the D&O, which is E&O, which is extremely unusual. So we do have the crime coverage. And then the last policy, which is the 4th policy, is incidental workman's comp. Now, what that is if somebody, one of the residents got on a ladder to get the fruit they wanted to have, and they fell off the ladder. Well, that is a trip and fall. Yes, they got on the ladder, but they still could be an exposure, and it's called incidental workman's comp. Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanya. Well, we have on here architectural Susan Vance, but I believe Michael Tashman is slated to give that report. Michael, I don't know if you're still on mute. How does he get off mute?
Star 6.
Star 6 again?
Star 6.
Yeah.
I think we might have. No, he's still on. So, Mike Tashman, if you do star 6, that will unmute your phone.
All right, here I is. All right,
Thank you.
the only the only unit with any activity at all was 703. But 703 had 2, well, I don't know if you call them new existing conditions. Number one, they had a solid roof over their front yard, which was evidently installed by the original owners a very long time ago. And also was, well, it was considered to be a violation at this point, but it was strange because these people bought the unit and didn't know about that. At any rate, maybe what I'm saying is moot because they removed it. So the covering, which was out of compliance, is gone. In addition to that, the front had been, by the previous owners, painted some motley looking brown, which is totally atypical. I don't think that there's nothing like that in the whole place. So I gave the permission to bring it back to original. So it's white, exactly the same color as as everything is here. That's it. That's the only activity I've had.
Great. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. We've gone through business and finance. Kat, is there anything for clubhouse rental?
No, there's no new rentals coming up. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. We had one for Father's Day that got canceled. So that's it.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Liaison, Nancy Swain. Oh, you are there. I'm sorry. You were hiding in the back. I didn't see you.
Step up to the camera. There you go.
As usual, there's always something cooking at the Casitas. Right now, there are 5 units for sale. 2 longtime owners, Richard Anderson and Larry Marshall, have moved out of our community and have their units for sale. 2-bedroom unit, 724 Los Lomitas, is listed at $299,000. 1-bedroom unit, 708 Roller Coaster, is listed at $219,900. 3-bedroom unit, 700 Roller Coaster, has been reduced in price from $339,000 to $319,000. 2-bedroom unit, 683 Los Lomitas, remains on the market at $260,000. 1-bedroom unit, 641 Los Lomitas, has been reduced in price from $253,500 to $242,000. What you can assume from what I'm telling you is that properties are not selling. Their prices continue to drop and they are still not selling. So it's a buyer's market right now. We want to welcome Brenda Johnson from Texas, who moved into Unit 621 in the middle of June. She will be renting for the next year and looks forward to connecting with our community. Also, a welcome to Nancy and Bill Sterin, who have completed renovations of 3-bedroom unit 626 Roller Coaster and moved in last week. We also welcome Aileen Loringer, who moved into 626 Roller Coaster in May. As always, at the closing of each sale, a member of the liaison committee meets with the new owner or resident to review our information packet and field any questions. Thanks from Nancy Swain, Sue Martins, and Diane Blair. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Nancy. Let's see, where are we? Social, since we had a resignation last month, and the social chair or the social position is still open. Anyone interested in filling that job, please let me know. It's not a tremendous amount of work, but there's a little bit behind it. Mostly holiday meals and get-togethers and things like that. Okay, unfinished business. The well chlorinator, as I mentioned in my report at the beginning of the meeting, the engineer came out, I believe it was a week ago tomorrow, met with Greg Cross and did his initial survey of the well area so that he could begin to put together his report. And we're waiting for that to progress. So there's not much else to say for that. I just mentioned the social chair appointment, and I also provided the lap pool, large pool by a tennis court, the heater update. under new business, why don't we tackle the easy one first? And that is the community survey. Ed, I don't know, do you want to go through that? Would you mind? Or you kind of were the father of this whole thing and put it all together. You're probably more familiar with it than I am.
Sure, I can do that. I'm going to try and share my screen.
Okay, thanks.
I can see it.
Mike, can you help him do that?
Yeah, just a second. I have to get it. I gotta find him right here. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Allow. Okay. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. Does everybody see the survey on the screen?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. The electrons are still flowing.
Or maybe not.
They're held up here.
Co-host.
Try it again.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll share my entire
There
message.
it is. Here it comes now. Yeah.
See this?
Yeah, I did it one time, yeah.
All right, do you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first, thanks to everybody that contributed to refining the survey to get it out to all the residents. And then thanks for the residents for completing it. Oops, sorry. Okay. And for those that completed it on paper, I was able to load those in as the administrator, so they are included in these results. In all total, we had 52 respondents to the survey. That's 43.7% of the community, which is a great response to a survey of this kind. So thank you for that. So the first question was around landscaping and how to try and reduce. Let me back up. The entire survey was kind of looking at ideas of way to cost savings, et cetera, for the community. And then just a sense of what the community felt from a financial perspective. And then we opened it to open-ended questions. So the very first question was around ways to reduce landscaping and irrigation costs. We threw out some ideas, if you will, and then at the end, I'll kind of talk about some of the open-ended responses to the same inquiry. So as you can see, only about 4% of the respondents said no to anything that we suggested. The biggest response was in the area of converting difficult or dying green space. So not to actively go out and reduce green space, but it was dying or difficult. That seemed to be the preference of the respondents. Second in line was to kind of reduce green space area through a seriescape approach. But I do think it was great to see that it did seem favorable for us to look at dying areas or challenging areas to convert those to something more easy to maintain. On the next question was ways to reduce utility costs. Again, we have a few folks didn't think respond to any of the ideas in a favorable way. And then we threw out examples mostly around the pools. So heat the lap pool, heat the clubhouse pool only, whichever pool is heated, reduce it, don't make any changes. So it looked like the majority of folks felt that we should heat the lap pool only and then reduce the temperature to which we heat it as a method of cost savings. Then I go to the next question, kind of get a sense of what the community felt in terms of our financial position and what they expect. There was a good distribution here, more so than any of the other ones. And folks felt that about 17% felt that there would be no change to the HOA fee, or there would not be any need for a special assessment. About 11.5% felt there would be need for an increase in the HOA. 25% thought there would be the need for a special assessment. And then about almost half of the respondents felt that there would be a need for both an HOA increase and potentially a special assessment. And as you heard from Tanya just a minute ago, the insurance probably will not see any relief. Hopefully will stay flat. So I do think there's a potential that there'll be some financial requirements for the community, and the board will decide what that looks like with the assistance of business and finance. And then we asked the question about, do you prefer that it gets rolled up in the HOA or the approach where we took last year, where if we need an increase for the operational expenses, we increase the HOA. If for some reason we need an increase in the insurance, or the insurance doesn't provide any relief, we still maintain the insurance outside of the operating budget and manage that through special assessment. Almost 60%. This one's kind of almost in the middle, if you will. There's not a huge variation. About 58% prefer the way we did it last year, the special assessment and the HOA increase separately. And then about 42% said, let's simplify it and roll it all in the HOA. So we'll take that into consideration as we decide what to do with this feedback and how that influences the planning for the coming year. So I'm not going to read all these, but what I did is I went through, there was a lot of open-ended questions and feedback, and then we had a very broad open-ended question at the very end where you could say or suggest anything. It might be easier to distribute this throughout the community, but there are definitely some themes in all those responses. Some folks are very passionate about not changing the grounds and preserving that. As you can see in the response to the survey, others wanted to see some changes, but again, it looked like more addressing the challenging and dead spots than converting anything that was currently green. For question 4 about utilities, suggestion for solar heating, if that could potentially bring the costs down, whether or not the pool should remain heated or open in the winter months were some of the suggestions that we heard in the open-ended question. And then there were some radical suggestions that we fill in the clubhouse pool and convert that to a patio space that might be more usable for more people than having 2 pools. So that was some of the questions there, the open-ended responses there. And then question 5 around the HOA fees and how we go about that. And again, it was either roll it in, manage it better, make sure we look to increase the contributions so we don't find ourselves in a constant state of special assessments, etc. Question 6, how did they like the approach? A number of folks in this section really expressed a desire for no increase. And then I think the actual respondents that I showed earlier really indicated that folks did expect some increases. It's just a matter of the way we'll approach it. And then question 7, they looked at just open-ended other thoughts that might save some money. There's talk, as usual, when we do these types of exercise, self-management versus having a management company, looking to see if we can make some revenues by providing historic tours, which I thought was very creative. Need to increase, again, there was a focus on the need to increase contribution to the reserves. Alternative insurance options were kind of thrown out there, which I think will be part of a future evaluation. And there was also suggestions for people to become more engaged. I guess some of the folks that are moving in are currently working, or people that are there are currently working. And they were asking for change in the meeting hours to non-work hours so they can participate. So that's a real high-level overview of what we saw and heard. We do have all the detailed responses. We will respond to those themes and make sure that the community understands that we are taking this information and taking action on it as appropriate. Jay, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
No, that's fantastic. Thanks, Ed. That's a great summary. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments.
Yes, I do. Are these going to be posted anywhere?
We can send this out to Chrissy and she can post it to Town Square. And then Mike, I don't know if you can posted to Casitas?
It's already
Yeah, I can
been,
put it-
it's been sent out by email to everybody, but
Oh,
okay.
we
I
could
didn't know that.
we could put it on the website in Town Square, no problem.
I haven't gotten one.
All right.
It
Any
was
questions?
sent a few days ago by Susan Vance, so we'll have to check the email list. No, I think that's it for that, and we can move on to the other item under new business. And really, Michael, you want me to take the lead on this, or do you want to do the summary, or what do you want to do here? Oh, he might be on. Yeah, okay.
I can do a summary. Frankly, it's still too much in the inception phase to make anything of importance right now. I'll tell you where I'm at. As you may probably know, we were fortunate and contacted whom I believe is a high-powered attorney who expressed a willingness to look this over with no cost to us at all. I explained to him that I couldn't incur any expenses without the board's approval. What he's come up with so far is just the fact that it can theoretically be done. It's quite a job. And of course, we're talking about converting to townhouses in case that's not clear. I should have prefaced it with that. It's quite a job. He is yet to come up with definitive how to do it, nor costs. And frankly, has said he also has to determine if he's the right fellow to entertain this, to work on it.
Mike, let me interrupt just a second before you go on. Let me just try and give a brief overview. So the concept of this is as follows. In that our insurance as a community is so expensive, Michael Tashman actually had the thought and came up with the idea of possibly converting from a condominium association to a townhome association. Now, we're at the very beginning stages of just doing research and feeling it out. And Michael has taken on most of the work by himself in doing this, but other people have been involved. And basically the concept is as follows, and I'll just use some round numbers, okay? Let's say our insurance premium is $200,000 per year, which is roughly what it is. That insurance is because we are a condominium association, and everything from the exterior of the walls of the buildings and the buildings themselves, plus all the common areas, are covered by those insurance policies. Now, if we were to convert to a townhome association, the responsibility for the insurance of each unit would be the homeowners. Now, if you're anything like, I think most of us, you've probably already got insurance on your unit from the walls in. All of your valuables, your furnishings, your property is probably already covered. So some of us contacted our insurance companies and said, what would be the incremental cost increase if I were to go from a condominium insurance policy to a townhome policy, meaning I, Jay Napoli, would be responsible for my entire unit. And quite frankly, the response shocked me. It was a very, very modest annual increase in the order of $100 or $150, somewhere in that neighborhood. Annual premium increase in doing this. So that got us to thinking, well, if that's the case for most units, boy, that might be something worth looking into. So the math works right now, but there's still a lot of information that we have to gather. And if we were to pursue this, it's nothing that would affect us for probably at least another year or so, because that's how long it would take to change all of our documentation and implement this. So I just wanted to give that overview. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, frankly, she did a great job, and I do not can't think of anything more that I can add at this point. I'm keeping in touch with this attorney, and as soon as I get something salient that tells me, number one, if we can do it, and number two, what it will cost, and then we can think about proceeding. Jay, what's important too is how much does our HOA insurance decrease? I think it should be mammoth, a huge decrease. I think that the way these insurance premiums are figured for HOA, like we have, is, well, frankly, I don't want to say disingenuous, but in essence, they're charging us for the value of this whole property. What is it, 35 million? Anyway, they're not going to pay for all of that. All they're going to pay is for the exterior walls and outside. So I think this is potentially a game changer, but there's an awful lot to find out still.
You're right, Mike.
That's all I
There's
have.
still a lot of work to do, but thanks for spearheading this and at least beginning the process. It's worth something to look at. It may amount to nothing, or it may be the best idea that we've ever had, and that remains to be seen. But it does not mean that we would not have for all of our common areas. We would still need insurance for the clubhouse, for the pools, for common area grounds, for liability, etc. So we would still need some insurance, but it shifts the burden, if you will, and the expense of the common areas of the buildings as condos from the association to the homeowners. But in that shifting, the financial burden's actually a lot less than the special insurance assessment that we're currently paying. I think I'm paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $95 a month special assessment for insurance for our condominium association insurance policies. As I mentioned, if I were to own that unit, my annual premium would increase by about $150. So just that math alone makes it worth looking at. But there may be some other gotchas. So are there any questions on that topic from anyone?
Let me add something, if you will, Jay. The value of the unit as a townhouse is more than the value of the unit as a condominium. So our potential sales price, if and when we decide to sell our individual units, we get more for them.
Okay. Any comments or questions? So we want to move on to.
I have a question. I have a quick question. Does that affect the historical title that we have here? Being a condo or something?
I know what you mean. I am told very specifically that it does not. However, before we actually did anything significant, we would really research this and get something in writing that it does not. But I don't think it does.
Okay. So I've got a question here from Mike Ramo about the fact that the units are connected. Does that affect insurance? Well, we don't know the answer to that yet, Mike. But when I talked to my insurance company, I described how the unit was connected to 3 other units, and that didn't seem to matter to them at all. Okay.
I don't think it matters at all either.
Yeah. Is there anyone that has any new business?
Jay, this is Colleen. I just wondered if maybe you could talk about what's the status of a sand filter for the well so that the irrigation system doesn't continue to collect sand?
Yeah, thank you very much, Colleen. I meant to put that in my president's report that Smith Industries did come in. I think everybody knows, I believe it was early June, shut the water off to the community for a couple of days. We switched over to city water. They did the tank cleaning and a little area of coating, I believe. Now, I don't have a report from them yet. Chrissy, I don't know if you've seen anything. All I saw was an invoice.
Yep. All I saw was the invoice. I responded to her and asked her for more details.
Okay, great. So that's one part of it. And in that report, it will tell us, Colleen, whether or not there was, in fact, a large amount of sand in there. We believe there was, but we don't know that for a fact yet. So the addition of a sand filter is something that we are still considering, we should still consider based on the report from Smythe when we get that.
Okay, thank you. It just means that we're continuing to repair the irrigation system, though, as the sand clogs up various, what do you call them? Those,
The heads, yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Hi, this is Kat Simons. I have a question.
Okay.
Isn't it part of the contract for this new company to take care of keeping the outside areas like under the Ramada at the big pool clean?
I do believe that is part of their responsibility, yes.
Okay, because the furniture was so filthy, you couldn't even put anything on it. And I brought a hose over there and connected it up, and I sprayed it all off. It's tricky to do that, so you don't want to get it in the pool. But I did leave the hose, and it's there now if anybody wants to clean off the chairs before they put their stuff on it.
Thank you, Kat. Yeah, Louisa, could you take a note and remind Flores that that's something that they should do on a regular basis?
Okay, one more thing too. I noticed in the big pool there are no flappers on several of the open drains that should be. When I talked, the guy from the company was there actually, and he said, well, there weren't any there when we did the pool. I said, well, there was only I think one that wasn't there. So the problem is any bugs or anything that is in there, just, it doesn't stay in there. It just comes right back out in the pool. And it seems like that should have been addressed when they did the pool all over. They should have put those in.
So I'm not a pool guy, so I don't even know what you're referring to.
Well, they're like along the edges. There's like a big opening, okay? And there's usually like a flapper that's in there that prevents something that goes in from coming back out again.
You mean like a filter?
No, it's not really a filter. It's kind of a flap, okay? The bugs go in, but they can't get back. Yeah, they can't get back out. The bugs go in, but they can't come back out. And other stuff, that debris and stuff that floats around. Seems like they should have done that when they did the pool, since they did the whole pool over. And then the guy also, I'm sorry.
So, Kat, this is Ed. Which pool is it?
The big pool, the lap pool.
I can try and get over there and take a look at it. I have a pool here that I have to dabble with, so I know what you're talking about. It might just be a matter of replacing the door.
Yeah, there's I think there's only one. I think there's like three of them altogether, or two, I can't remember, but there's one that doesn't have it. One other thing that the guy told me too is he said he puts this in the report. He's put it in the report for several occasions that the vacuum in the clubhouse pool is not adequate to get all of the stuff out of the bottom.
So I can answer to that one. So
Okay.
he did send in a request for that sand for the vacuum to be dealt with over here at the clubhouse pool. But when we were sent the estimate, they added a few other things to the estimate that weren't needed. So I checked with the technician, double checked that wasn't the case. He said they were going to send a revised estimate to replace or repair the vacuum at this pool, and I haven't received it. And I touched base with the technician again, and he said they should have sent it over. He was going to check, and I still haven't heard. And it's no longer in the reports. So it's now been taken out of the report.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other new business? Thank you, Kat. Okay.
I do have just a couple of things I want to mention real quick, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Chrissy.
The first is for the board to consider whether or not you want to move forward with any type of investments. The idea was brought to the Business and Finance Committee and Ed for our team, someone at our team who specializes in this field, to help you come up with a plan for investing any of the monies that you currently have in your reserve. So I do think that if you're interested, to let me know.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to mention was we did get the 2024 ADEQ consumer report. I received that today. I did forward it to Mike to be put on the Casitas website. It is already on Town Square. I think I CC'd Nancy on that one as well. Typically, you would send those out to each person who uses the water, so they have that report, and you would post it in a public place. So I wanted to find out from the board, do you want me to send the digital version via email and you can post a paper copy here at the clubhouse? Or how did you want to go about distributing that?
I think we have to do it like we normally do, and that is to try and cover all bases: email, hard copy in the clubhouse, and post it on Town Square.
Perfect. Okay.
Sorry, and the website.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Chrissy, this is Ed.
Yes.
Real quick question, and I think we talked about this briefly. The gentleman that you're referencing that could speak to us, does he have any higher earning vehicles than the one he presented in the initial email? Because I think that was this consensus for business finance myself, that the rate seemed low in comparison of what might be out in the market.
Yeah. So the one he presented was basically a money market account. It's not really a CD. And that way you have the accessibility to the money. He suggested their partner bank, one of their partner banks, but he can go and provide more options if that was something you were interested in. I think it was just like an initial, hey, here's what we can do. And then an offer of going in more in depth if you're really interested.
Yeah, if he can come back before he, waste his time in the business of finance, if he can come back with better rates, we would certainly entertain that.
Are you looking for just CDs or a mix?
Give us it all so we can decide.
Options?
Yeah, give us options.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm just piggybacking on you, Ed. This is Colleen. Definitely the Business and Finance Committee was looking possibly at CDs just to get a better rate than what we're currently getting with our money sitting in the bank. So, Ed, I agree with you. If we get multiple options, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, I would suggest that you keep in mind, just for ease, if you would consider one of our partner banks. I think we've got 4 or 5 that we can offer for different rates for CDs and whatnot, different kinds of accounts. If you choose to go with an account at a bank that we don't partner with, then the board becomes responsible for maintaining it, getting those statements to us on time so we can reconcile those. And all the access and everything would stay with the board.
Sure. As long as they're competitive, I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Michael. What are the current rates? I just bought some the CDs at 4.3%, 1 year CDs. Is that approximately what numbers you're getting?
Honestly, I haven't looked at the current rates, but I can tell you as of a couple of months ago, there were 1 or 2 banks that were offering in the 4% range. The others were lower. Yeah. 6 months ago, we were getting a 5.3. So it is going down. But I think we're still around the 4% mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? If not, I think we can move into public forum. Judy, hi.
We have one question.
Go ahead, Judy.
Quick question. In terms of the landscape, we're talking about cutting down a cypress tree. But over by where Frank Bay's Steros lived, the 2-story.
No, the one that we're talking about, Judy, is completely dead, and it's up on Los Lamitas. The one that you're referring to is a very, very large tree that is dying. It is not dead. Jim and I did take a look at that one. That is by the 2-story unit by the large lap pool. It will need to come down eventually, but it is not imminent. It's not in danger of falling. It's still actually quite healthy, but unfortunately, it's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. It's not going to survive. Yeah. but it does not need to become cut down immediately. The one that we're talking about is an Italian cypress off of Los Lamitas, and it's completely dead.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else for the public forum? If not, and this is a bit of a surprise to me, next meeting date, September 30th. We go 2 months without a meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm okay with that if everybody else is. I think last year we didn't do it because the storm hit and there was just too much going on.
Yes.
Everything's happening.
I would definitely advise the board to keep your eye on your email more than usual. Because over the next 2 months, if there's anything that cannot wait for the board meeting, it will be presented during or through the email for action in lieu. And then if at any time you need an emergent meeting, you can always call one.
Perfect. All right. That's great. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the public meeting.
Jay, this is
I so
Colleen.
move.
Sorry, I'm
Hold
just
on, hold on.
looking.
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry, just looking for a date. You said the 30th, that's a Tuesday. Did you mean the 29th of September?
I'm just reading off the agenda, so I
Oh,
don't.
sorry. Okay, sorry.
I don't know. You might be right. Hold on.
I'm checking my calendar 1 second.
30th is a Tuesday.
And that's
September
fine. I
20th.
just want to be clear.
Is there
Gotta be
a,
reason.
is it 29th not a holiday at all, is it, right?
No, that was my mistake. It is the 29th.
Okay, so the next meeting date would be September 29th. Now,
Yes.
do we want to talk about moving it to a later date as what was suggested in the community survey, or we want to discuss that next meeting?
Oh, as in like a later start time?
Yeah.
What about Sunday?
I would not be attending.
Oh, that's
You're welcome
right.
to have it, but I don't, yeah, you're welcome to have it.
Never mind.
All right, let's keep next meeting September 29th, 4 p.m. Start time. And we'll add that to the agenda about possibly starting a little bit later. Would that be okay with you, Chrissy, if we did, I don't know, say just for argument's sake, 6 p.m. start date?
Almost all of my communities start at 6.
Almost all with you?
This is,
Yeah,
this
okay.
is the one that starts the earliest, yeah. Typically my meetings are 6 to 8.
I really look forward to starting a meeting at 9
9
p.m.
o'clock.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
kind of late for you.
That's okay.
Until November,
That's okay.
and then it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. All right, so we'll keep it at 4 p.m. for September 29th. And now I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Ed.
Thank you,
Second,
Ed.
John.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned. We do need to move into executive session, which means that we ask everybody to leave as expeditiously as possible. Thank you very much.
Gonna leave this table.